Hey! This is the V here, and I'm here with Spencer to do the Real Buttons Podcast episode 15. We're on our 15th one, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I guess I'll start off talking about our introduction stuff, like what we bought and played, and I'll first mention our giveaways. Last podcast, which was like 2 weeks ago, we were giving away Supreme Commander 2, and the contest, we had 3 entries for the contest, only 3, and thanks for all three of you who, okay. Thanks for all 3 of you who entered, I appreciate that. But I randomly selected the winner, and it was Nova Bombed. And his comment was his favorite Halloween-related game was Manhunt, Manhunt 2, and if not those two, Saw. So Nova Bombed, I'll be sending you the code for Supreme Commander 2, and yeah, enjoy that. The other 2 guys, if you guys didn't win, feel free to enter for this next contest that I'm about to talk about. Nova Bond, I'm sorry, but we're only going to allow for one win per person because we don't have a lot of entries, obviously. So, if you get lucky and you get randomly selected twice, that's not fair to the other guys. So,
right.
Yeah, enjoy that, Nova Bombed, and we'll be the other guys. Like I said, you can enter. But this next contest, I'm going to be giving away Just Cause 2. And like I said, I'll mention it again. To enter, all you have to do is like this podcast, Real Buttons Podcast Episode 15. You have to be subscribed to my channel on YouTube. And what are we gonna do this time? For the comment, let's
didn't come up with anything.
Yeah. What's
your favorite open world video game?
Sure, let's go with that. That's fine. Just put that in the comments, and you can be entered to win Just Cause 2, which coincidentally is an open world game, if you didn't figure that out by now. But yeah, enter for that contest. Hopefully we can get more people to enter this time. But yeah.
And that was the wrong link I sent out.
Was it?
Yeah.
Great.
I found a new one.
Awesome. But anyway, I guess we can get to the other stuff that
yes, go ahead and I'm reposting this on Twitter.
Okay. So the first thing I picked up was I've been wanting to get back into reviews and stuff because if you've been listening to if you've been watching videos on my channel and stuff like that, I haven't really done a lot of reviews lately, and that's kind of sort of because I haven't had anything to really capture any footage. Like before, I used to just do videos all by just recording with a camcorder and stuff like that, and I really didn't want to do that anymore because it wasn't like professional. Obviously, I'm not a professional reviewer, but I really would like to make my reviews more professional. So I decided to pick up this capture card. It's the Roxio Game Capture HD Pro. It was about, I think it's $90 with some promotional credit I had. And that's like one of the cheaper HD capture cards on the market right now. Oh yeah. Excuse you.
That was not a sound effect. That was.
But yeah. Apparently, it's a really good capture card too. Like.
Ow.
What?
My chest.
What happened to your chest?
Just some pain.
Oh,
Anyways,
okay.
Going.
That doesn't sound bad at all. No, you're just dying. Okay, that's quite all right.
It'd be a smoother cast without me. Go on.
Okay. You know what? I will go on. But yeah, I'm getting that soon. So look out for more reviews from me, and I'll be doing also probably some reviews with Spencer here as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so look out for those. Hopefully, you guys will enjoy those. I'm sure a lot of people subscribe to this channel because of the reviews. But yeah, next I got Condemned Criminal Origins from the Sega Source because they were holding a contest.
Yeah, hey, we're
For
playing our own contests. You know, it's like
yeah,
we're running contests in our podcast, and then we're also what we're really doing. Everybody is what we do is we go to other sites, enter their contests. When we win, we give you the games.
yeah.
We run our own contest, or we re-gift.
Except I kept this one.
Yeah, no, we haven't ever done that, by the way. The current games we have, we did not win anywhere else.
Yeah.
We got them via an Origin coupon glitch. You're welcome. Or wait, no. One of them we got via an EA Origin coupon glitch.
The other ones I already owned.
The other ones he bought honestly, but
Yeah.
one of them is from incompetence.
Which one?
The one I'm giving away.
Oh. Oh, I guess I don't have Supreme Commander 2, so that's out of the niceness of my heart. I'm giving that one away.
Yes.
So I hope you appreciate it, Nova Bombed.
It's supposed to be a pretty good game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not my cup of tea, so I decided I'd give it away instead of just keeping it for myself.
What a wimp.
Yeah. But yeah, Condemned, got it from the Sega Source. I played like 30 minutes of it. Just started it up. It's what's freaking stupid?
What?
There's some really delusional people out there who kept saying when they first saw like real gameplay footage of Zombie U, they were like, Condemned looks better than Zombie U. And I just played it on PC on max settings. No, it's not even close. You are delusional. Whoever thinks Condemned looks better than
Condemned
Zombie
is like
U.
from like 2005.
I know, and I don't understand how people could make those comments in the first place. It blows my mind.
The sequel? I don't know. I haven't seen the sequel in action.
They were talking about the first one. I'm pretty sure they were posting like screenshots of the first game and trying to compare them to something like Zombie U. It's crazy. But Condemned seems pretty decent. Like I said, I haven't really played enough of it to have a full-on opinion about it. But the facial, what's it called? I don't know. The faces in that game look really. It looks like the PS2 generation.
Woo!
Obviously, because it's a launch title for 360. But yeah, I thought it was kind of funny just going back to that game and seeing that stuff. Next, I downloaded the new Mutant Mudds levels. I was going to talk about it last podcast, but I forgot. And so, if you had Mutant Mudds on the eShop, Renegade Kid put up the 20 new levels for free on the eShop, and these 20 levels are on the PC version that came out. And yeah, those levels are pretty cool. They're pretty tough. They're fun, just like the main levels. And yeah, I beat them all. So 100% of that game. But yeah. And then I picked up a couple 3DS games. I got Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask because I'm a huge Professor Layton fan. And I beat it, actually. So Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask is probably my second or third favorite Professor Layton game. My favorite is Unwound Future. Like, easily, I can make that opinion. It's the story in Unwound Future was just fantastic. It was by far the best out of the series. But Miracle Mask, it also has a pretty good story. It revolves around a guy in a mask who is causing these different, they call them miracles in the game, and you see like people get turned into stone or something that happened at the very beginning of the game. And they're going around trying to figure out this mystery like in all the other Professor Layton games. And then there's also obviously puzzles that go along with that. That's the main staple of the Professor Layton series. You got puzzles to work out, and the puzzles in this game are pretty good. There's some different variations of puzzles that have been in the old games, but there's a decent amount of new stuff. The one thing I will mention is I think they repeated a lot of the same puzzles a few times over with just like harder versions. And I don't really like when they do that a lot. I wish there was some extra puzzles, but as far as extra puzzles do go, they're releasing a downloadable puzzle each day for the next 365 days from when that game came out. So if you bought it, you're gonna get like a puzzle a day. So there's a pretty good.
My favorite puzzle. My favorite puzzle. I heard about one of these puzzles. You take your you take your ball sack and try and try.
What?
You try. You take your ball sack and you drag it. I'm crying.
Let it out, man.
You take your ball sack and you drag it across the touch screen.
Oh.
You take your ball sack and drag it across the touch screen.
Oh, this podcast just got infinitely. Oh, this podcast just got real bad. Oh, everyone just leave now. That was Real Buttons Podcast episode 15, guys. Just leave it there. Thanks for listening. We'll be back later. No, but really, Professor Layton. It's a good game.
I was crying. Phil can vouch for me. I was crying. Was I crying, Phil? I was crying.
I think we could tell by your insane laughter that you were probably ended up crying after that. Apparently you're having a heart attack as well. With that chest problem.
All right.
Okay.
You can go on.
I lost my train of thought. All I can think about now is ball sacks.
Yeah, you were talking about downloadable puzzles, and that's when I came
yeah.
up with the idea.
That's,
I just got this. Dude, I gotta tell you the picture that came to my head when you were talking about those that made me come up with that joke.
You were thinking about a ball sack touching the touch screen? Is that what?
I was thinking about a 3DS, and there's Professor Layton and the kids standing up on the top one, on the top screen, and on the bottom screen it's just two oval outlines for your balls to be set in.
Too bad it's not multi-touch though. It would only register the entire ball sack.
Only one.
Only one.
Only one touch. Yeah.
I don't know why anyone would be listening right now anymore. Yeah.
Phil's still listening.
Oh, well, that's okay. That's cool. You're probably forcing him. He's probably like tied down onto a chair. He's probably suffering.
You'll be testing our prototype puzzle.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'll move on. That's enough. That's enough puzzle solving for one. Every puzzle has an answer. And the one that Spencer thought of has a pretty good answer. I don't know where we go from there, honestly. I'm just.
Well, this next one's something about Virtue's Last Reward.
Oh, that game. That game has puzzles too. So
yeah, it's not doing downloadable ones for 365 days.
No, it is not. So Virtue's Last Reward. I got that game. It's a sequel to 999, 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, which was one of my favorite DS games ever. The story was fucking amazing. And apparently Virtue's Last Reward is even better, according to a lot of people. And so far from what I've played of it, it seems like a really, really cool game. Um, the voices are actually fully voiced now, except for during the puzzle sequences, where it's just text. And it's weird because your character actually doesn't talk, but everyone around you does. I mean, your character talks, but he doesn't have a voice actor. So I kind of find that jarring at first, but you could kind of like uh, make your own voice for him as far as like in your head. I think that's what they were going for. Like you're trying to be this guy yourself. So, but yeah, that's cool. And the 3DS version apparently has some really bad bugs. So if you have a Vita and you want a good game, get Virtue's Last Reward on the Vita. And if you have a Vita and a 3DS, get the Vita version. Because apparently there's some save corrupting bugs in the 3DS version if you do certain things. If you save in a certain room called the I forgot what it's called, but it's if you save during like a puzzle room, you have a chance to corrupt your save file. So it's really bad. I don't do that. I had to get the 3DS version because I don't have a Vita, but get the Vita version if you have it.
And nobody has one, so tough luck.
Yeah, but if you do. Next, the last thing I got was Halo 4. So that just came out a few days ago.
And I wish I had an Xbox 360 for this game for once.
Yeah, you should, because Halo 4 so far has been really, really good.
It's like the first time I've been this excited for one since Halo 2.
I haven't personally played a Halo game, at least a Halo campaign, since Halo 3 came out. So I have really been itching for some more Halo. When Halo 4 was about to come out, I was like saying I'm like I didn't have much funds left because I'm gonna be purchasing the Wii U, like I said, and stuff like that. So I was gonna see if I could get it for Christmas, or get some money for Christmas and then buy it myself. But I ended up finding a textbook I could sell, so I sold a textbook to get some money for that, and I picked up Halo 4, and so far it's been really great. It could quite possibly be one of the best the best Halo game ever made. In terms of the visuals go, I have to talk about the visuals because this is a game on 7-year-old hardware now. And
yeah, it looks beautiful.
It might be one of the best looking games of this entire generation.
I would agree with that.
I haven't played it,
but I've seen videos.
The artistic design in the game is absolutely fantastic. There's people from Retro Studios, some art designers from Retro Studios who have gone to 343, and they've been doing stuff for Halo 4, and it kind of shows. It does kind of remind me a little bit of Metroid, just the style a little bit, and we've talked about that before, how it's a little bit like that. But so far the campaign has been pretty good. I personally never thought that Halo had had amazing stories. I'm not sure about you.
Oh, I definitely did. Halo lore, the lore of Halo is like one of the most developed in the entire industry. Like the Halo wiki is massive. I freaking love the Halo wiki.
Yeah.
I don't even play I don't even play the franchise anymore, but like I keep up with the storyline. I've always kept up with the storyline, even though I haven't really played one since Halo 3.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, I didn't play the campaign for Halo Reach or Halo 3 ODST or anything like that. So
I played like 2 hours of Reach over at a friend's place.
I have Reach, but I've only really played multiplayer. So I'm not really caught up on the lore of Halo.
You should play the campaign on it. I hear it's like probably the second or third best before Halo 4 came out. I think Halo 4 looks stunning, though. I really want Halo 4.
Yes,
people got to understand. I don't really care about like the 360 most of the time because it has so few exclusives, like actual exclusives. But one of the franchise, and like I didn't care about Halo 3. I kind of thought Halo 3 was lame. Didn't care about Halo 3 ODST. Halo Reach, I cared about a tiny little bit because it was Bungie's last game, so I thought they might give it their all. And from what I played, it was pretty good. But I still think Halo 1 and 2 are the best games in the franchise. And Halo 4, though, like I wasn't very excited for Halo 3. I was excited for Halo 2. And I think that Halo 4 is like the most excited I've been for a Halo title since Halo 2.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe probably more excited for it than Halo 2 because it just looks like a complete reinvention of the series.
You could say it has evolved.
Yeah, you could use that pun. Yes.
Yeah, I used that already. But no, but really, like that was all. Late little rim shot right there.
Oh, and Phil said too traumatized to click out of this. I assume he was referring to the ball sacks.
Yeah, I would be too. Actually, I'd probably be gone by now. But I was gonna say something about Halo 4 and how it's good. What was I gonna say? No,
That's what you were gonna
there was
say?
more. Yeah. Oh yeah. My friend just went back and like started to play the original Halo. Just I don't know why. He just oh right. He was waiting for Battlefield 3 to update and install his DLC for 2 hours on PS3. So yeah, he started that. It's amazing, like looking where that game came from, like just how much it has actually evolved over the years. It's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, I replayed Halo Combat Evolved last year, I think, and I think Phil played it for the first time last year. The first one I think has really stood the test of time. I think it's a great game still.
Something that like 343 has really done well, I think, in Halo 4 is they've changed all the noises for the actual weapon sounds. So like the assault rifle actually sounds like it has like it's got like a really good thump on it. Like it just all the weapons have a really really good distinct sound, and I really really like what they did with that. And the new weapons are pretty cool. The Prothean weapons. They're pretty cool looking, but a lot of them are basically just the same things as regular old.
Well, that's
weapons.
how the Covenant weapons
I know.
were. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, Covenant had some different weapons here and there.
they had the Needler.
Needler, and then they had like I don't know. The plasma.
I think it was pretty much the
pistol
Needler.
is sort of different, but
Yeah, because it charges and
yeah.
yeah, I guess so. It's
I
a little
can
bit.
understand that, but I mean, there's different things like like the spread shotgun or something. That's a Prothean weapon. I guess it's got a wider spread, but it's basically just a shotgun.
Yeah.
I mean, they're cool. They're cool looking, and I mean, I like using them. They got a good feel, but it's just a little something there. Maybe I would have liked to see some more variety as far as weapons go, but other than that, the multiplayer itself is as fun as ever. You know, Halo multiplayer has been cool. They've added a lot of like Call of Duty style stuff, like loadouts. You can use your own loadouts now. You have certain armor abilities, like I mean, I guess they had them in the previous games, like active camo and stuff like. But they have new stuff, like the jetpack is now. You can have it always as part of a armor ability, and the sprinting is not an ability anymore like it was in Halo 3. And the
Yeah,
other
you can just do it.
and the other Halo, yeah, you can just sprint now. But something like I don't know, it's something cool about Halo. I feel like I've been so used to that chest is. No, but something cool about Halo. I've been so used to playing shooters now that have like just all iron sights and stuff. And I don't know, going back to Halo with no iron sights, it's just
sights.
it kind of feels refreshing. Like it feels like something new almost, even though it's only been
older.
like a few years that I've played a Halo.
Well, I mean,
game.
it's well, I mean, that's how like old school PC games were. You didn't have the iron sights, so that's kind of like the culture Halo was coming out of. But it was a little more open ended, you know, and a little bit slower paced and more. I would argue that Halo was actually very innovative because what it did wasn't really being done in either the console space or the PC space at the time that it came out. Like it had these massive open levels, had a lot of vehicular stuff, and it had this like massive focus on big epic battles. Like you would go quite a while without fighting anybody, and then you'd come along, enemy encampments, and then you'd have to go through that, and it kind of had this big focus on set pieces. But yeah, I don't know. I freaking loved the Halo. I loved the original Halo. It was a really well done game, and it still is. It's still. I mean, Phil, he liked it, and like I said, the first time he played it was last year. So I mean, it's aged fine. It's a 10-year-old game. He played it just last year. He thought it was good.
Yeah, it's definitely a great game. Like the other there's like a few multiplayer modes in Halo 4 that I haven't really touched yet. There's like a flood mode where you actually play as the flood, or some people can't play as flood. I think it might be like a spin on the zombies mode from Halo Reach, and I don't know if zombies was in Halo 3 or not. Probably was, but it's probably some of that. I haven't played them. I've only really been playing the team deathmatch so far. I got to try out the other modes, but yeah, Halo 4 is really fucking good. And if you have a 360, you got to go buy that. What else are you going to buy? I mean, other than multiplats and stuff, but that's a great game to go out and buy for your 360 exclusively. So,
yeah, it's an exclusive. All right,
that's it for me.
Okay, so I'm still working through those EA games, almost exclusively on my end, that I got via the Origin coupon glitch. I started Saboteur. I pretty much gave up on it because it's just not that good. It's such a distinctly average game that I just decided it wasn't worth my time. But I mean, I kind of felt that way about all of Pandemic's games. Like when EA bought out Pandemic, I was like, what are they thinking? Because Pandemic is just a studio that, if it's left to stand by itself, is going to go out of business. So, I mean, it wasn't a very, in my view, skilled studio. But Saboteur has some neat ideas. I really like how it gets black and white in the Nazi-occupied areas. But the thing that's weird about the game is it's really heavy-handed about the Nazi stuff, and yet I feel it's kind of inaccurate in its portrayal. Like it's like, for one thing, like it's super heavy-handed. Like, oh, the Nazis are evil, and yes, they were. But like then all of a sudden you're driving down a road and you'll see like a black person just like walking down on the sidewalk, and you're like, that the Nazis weren't allowing that.
Yeah.
like that's not.
I haven't played Saboteur or anything, and I want to at least try it out for myself just to see how it is, but
I mean, like,
yeah.
It's just like I didn't get that, like, how come it was so heavy-handed yet it was inaccurate in its portrayal? Because like one of the first things the Nazis did was take any non-white person and pretty much kill them. So I was like, okay, so you're going to be really heavy-handed in cutscenes, but then in the open world, it's like there's tons of people walking around like who the Nazis would have killed. So it's like I just didn't get it. But yeah.
Who knows?
Next one is Dragon Age. I guess we'll talk about that one next, even though I don't really want to. Dragon Age, I gotta wonder what the hell's going on here, because this game got like it averaged like 91% or something amongst critics, and I'm just kind of like, I don't really get it, because it doesn't seem like a very good game to me, and like I hate the enemy design. The one thing that I will say is I don't think I really know how to play it, because like I typically just control my one character and then go at it, and like I got my ass kicked by the first boss, and then when I went online and like looked up the boss fight on just a video, because I was like I tried it like twice and I did terrible both times, so I was like, maybe there's some strategy. I realized you're supposed to be using like the top-down view and like micromanaging each of your characters, and you can pause it. You can pause it in battle, so you can change the strategy. So it's kind of like a turn-based RPG in that regard. But I was just kind of like, I don't really get this, and it looks. I don't know. It was like the graphics are kind of crappy. The enemies are really freaking terrible looking, like in terms of just like the design for them. I wasn't a fan. It was like it was the typical The controls are kind of weird. It was the typical BioWare RPG for me, where I'm like, I don't get this. Like, yeah. Um, Next up is Mass Effect. This one is a series that Naveed loves.
I do.
Uh,
I thought it got worse over each game in the series, as far as my personal liking of the game. Like, there's stuff that each one does better, but
And so I want to say that yet again, this game I feel controls awkwardly, which is an element that I think is true pretty much with all BioWare games. Like one thing that bothers me is like if you try to, what the hell is it? Like if you try to like the way the sprint works and like the animations work, they're just a little bit janky.
yeah. I never really used the sprint at all. Like that. That was more like, I don't know. That seemed like more like a cinematic thing almost when you did
Right.
that.
It's really weird, and like he can only do it when he's like running forward. He can't really steer while he's doing it, so you have to like stop and then steer, and it's like
Yeah, but
it's really
the
really
sprinting
crappy.
the sprinting in like the Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, they look like almost like the Gears of War style sprinting. Not like
Yeah.
exactly like that, but it's different. So
And then the gunplay is kind of all right, and then the dialogue options are not that great. But the one thing that I will say is that over other BioWare RPGs that I've played, this is thus far the best one. So I'm understanding why I can see why people like it, and like the world and the characters seem cool. And I mean, the gameplay overall has been all right thus far. It's been good. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely probably the best BioWare game I've played, and I can understand this one a lot better than I understand the other ones.
I just think the whole world of Mass Effect is just so fully realized, and like they have a description for absolutely everything, and like the codex and stuff like that. That it's. I just think the world is really cool, and the original Mass Effect does some really odd things, like some things that aren't very cool. Like the cover system is really shitty. You like run up
it's
the
terrible.
cover.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, and that was fixed in Mass Effect 2. You press a button to get into cover, like in a lot of games. But just in this game, in the first one, it was really really poor. I never used it really, but I just
mean,
think
overall,
those games are really cool.
I would say that the main game that I walked into thinking about with this was Alpha Protocol. So far, I think I like Alpha Protocol more, but Alpha Protocol definitely had its own version of jankiness. So, in terms of animations, was actually more janky than Mass Effect by far. So
That crouch walk in Alpha Protocol.
yeah, the crouch walk is hilarious.
I love that crouch walk. Yeah,
that's a great crouch walk. So yeah, then there's now I'll talk about two more things, and then we'll move into something else here. So I beat Crisis Warhead, and I also got into the Crisis 3 beta. So the Crisis 3 beta is terribly unoptimized, but it's still really good looking. It's definitely graphically one of the more impressive games. The beta kind of sucks, or excuse me, the alpha kind of sucks because it's only one multiplayer map thus far, so I can't really say much about it, and I think I'm actually on a non-disclosure agreement, but who gives a fuck? And
really, they have those for betas?
For alpha. It's a closed alpha, I
Oh.
think. So yeah, I think I signed a non-disclosure agreement or agreed to one anyways. So I can't. But I mean, there's not much to say. It's
They're
all
gonna
right.
sue you, Spencer. You're gonna be
yeah,
sued.
they are. They're gonna kick me out. So then I beat Crisis Warhead. One of the things I don't know about Crisis 2 and 3, but in the multiplayer, like you can use any of the suit's options pretty much all at once or something like that. Like it gives you a lot of them by default. Like it gives you the super jump by default. It gives you speed by default. And I don't really like that. And I'll tell you why. I liked the strategy of only having one. I feel like that's really consoleized. And the reason I feel that way is because I liked the strategy of only being able to use one of the suit effects at a time. I didn't like it's overpowering. You have too much power when you can use multiple of them at once, and I don't like it. So I hope that in the single player in Crisis 2 and 3 that they are like the first game where you just have only one option, enabled on the suit at a time. You can't use the jump and the speed at the same time and all that. I don't like that. But Crisis Warhead, I beat it, and I honestly think maybe it's tough for me to say, but it was pretty competitive with the original single-player campaign. The levels were a little less open, and so overall I would give it to the first game. But both of them are great games, and I think honestly I might prefer them over the Halo titles. Finally, I might be able to say that because the first two Crisis games are the first Crisis game and the expansion are excellent. They're just fantastic first-person shooters, hands down. Maybe I still prefer Halo, maybe I prefer Crisis, but bottom line is I think the first Crisis and Crisis Warhead and Halo 1 and 2 are the best first-person shooters ever, just period. I think those are the best ones that I've ever played. I haven't played Halo 4, so I can't make a full judgment on that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to play Crisis. When you're done with that Halo 4 single player, you need to jump into Crisis and check it out. Cause
there's going to be a lot of other stuff I play after Halo 4 these coming weeks.
No. Crisis.
So
Telling you now.
A certain next-gen console is coming out next week that I'm getting. So I don't know if I'll be going to Crisis.
You're lost. The next one is finally here. This is the final piece. Windows 8. I want to talk about Windows 8 a little bit, and not so much just as what I've been up to, but just a discussion between me and Naveed here. I don't know what to think about this operating system because I'm kind of a Windows fan. I'll admit to it. I'm pretty unpleased with, or rather displeased with Microsoft's direction with the start screen versus the start menu.
I think that's a lot of people's.
I think a lot of people
opinion.
Yeah. And what really upsets me though is I finally checked out Windows 8. I checked it out. It was over at Staples. They had they had computers running it, and I'm just a little bit upset because the underlying operating system has been drastically improved over Windows 7. The search times are the shortest I've ever seen on any operating system ever. And Windows 7 has decently quick search, but it's nowhere near as fast as this. This is it's sort of like you start typing, and literally as you're typing, results are coming up.
Yeah.
And they're coming up so quickly that, if you continue to type, you won't even be able to read the titles of the stuff that you're passing or whatever, so if you start to look for, say you're looking for Steam and Skype and you just hit S, but then when you hit the T, you won't even have enough time to read Skype. It's that's how fast it is. It's so freaking fast. And the start times, I was using a laptop and it had a 5400 RPM. So I shut it down and it had a 5400 RPM drive, which is pretty much the slowest modern drive you can get. And so I shut it down and I started it back up, and in 5 seconds it was ready and roaring. It was just the speed is incredible. And there's a lot of new features that they've added that are nice, like the built-in drive mounting for ISOs and stuff like that, and the new task manager, and the new UI is really. I love the new UI. It's really clean looking. For the desktop, and I also really like being able to snap stuff to the sidebar and then use the desktop. And there's just no wasted screen real estate. If you're using Windows 7 and you have to do all this Windows management and window management, you'll have this part of the wallpaper peeking through over here and that one, and you'll be wasting all of that screen real estate. Whereas with Windows 8, you can just clip on one side you can snap in Skype or whatever, and then on the other side you can snap in Visual Studio. So I like all that.
Yeah.
But I can't get over the start screen. I just can't get over it.
And there's some stuff that I really like. I personally don't like how you have to go into the corners to see other applications or whatever that you have open.
Mm-hmm.
I think that at the top left corner does that, or something like that.
I think you can still Alt-Tab, though.
Yeah, you can do that, I guess. That's easier, but I don't know. But then there's other stuff, it's obviously made for a tablet, how you close some of the applications.
You just drag it across and then drag it down.
Drag it down.
I think you can still use Control W for that, though.
I never used that ever, so if I got Windows 8, I would probably start using that. So
Control W or Alt F4, but Alt F4, I think Control W would do it. I think.
Mm, yeah. Um, but there's just like all these little things that make Windows 8 something that's not what I really want to use
Right.
in an operating system. Like the thing you just showed me, like so there's some software out there that actually adds this start
Yeah,
start
Start 8.
button
It's
onto
called
the
Start 8.
desk. Start
It's
aid.
it's called Start 8 by Stardock.
Oh, okay.
Stardock. It costs which are the people who used to run the Impulse gaming client, and then they sold that to GameStop. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, that's just adding a start button like onto the desktop
And
view.
it does some great things, and it looks like it looks official, and it really should have been like how Microsoft handled it, because like one of the things it does is it lets you use the Windows 7 style start menu, but then themes it with your Windows 8 theme, which is great. But then the other cool thing that it does is it lets you run, if you want to, it lets you run the Metro start menu, but in different sizes, in up to 4 different sizes, which is really what Microsoft should have allowed. I mean, this is exactly the implementation. I mean, it would, and it would support like Microsoft. All they'd have to do to make everybody happy and still have Metro be on most people's computer is just default to the full screen start screen with Windows 8 Metro. And I think they're calling it Modern UI, but nobody gives a shit. It's Metro.
It's a Metro.
And then give power users the option to change it just in some menu. Like, I don't mind if you default to that giant ugly piece of crap. I mean, it's not ugly. It's actually pretty. It is pretty. It just doesn't work well with a keyboard and mouse, which is.
And there's some cool stuff you can do on it, like the Steam thing, where you can have all your games like just on that Metro menu.
Yeah, I mean, there's cool stuff you can do with it, but it's a tablet interface, and it looks like it's great for tablets. I used it on a touchscreen PC, and it worked fantastic. But the problem is that mouse and keyboard is still the best way to interact with an operating system, in my view, and at least when that operating system is designed well for it. And they could have very easily supported everybody. They could have very easily offered everybody an option that they'd be pleased with, and they just shoved it in there, and I'm very unhappy about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know.
Unless there's an update for like an official update for Windows 8 that adds all this like stuff that I want, like a start menu on the desktop view, I won't be switching to Windows 8. I have access to it as a student. I have free access to Windows 8.
I have a copy. I have a copy too, but I agree with you. I mean, eventually, I think I could switch maybe, and then just install that Start 8 application. But I want an official solution from Microsoft, and I think they need to give it. I think they do. I mean, when it was in the developers preview, via a registry hack, you could enable the Windows 7 start menu. So at one point, and I imagine they still have it internally. I bet you anything they still have that internally in their own internal versions of Windows 8. But bottom line is, we know it was at some point a component of the operating system, and that they very easily could add it. If Stardock can handle this, then Microsoft can, and they can support everybody. It's very easy. I don't want to hear any excuses.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. And all of this leads into one of our first rumors about the Xbox Surface. So the Verge actually got like a heads up about this. Apparently, according to them, it's pretty much official at this point, but it's still a rumor for now. It's not officially announced. But the rumor is that Microsoft's going to be releasing an Xbox branded Surface. And we were talking about this. While we were talking about this before we started this podcast with Spencer, I actually had this idea. I think they're gonna be trying to market this in a big way for the next Xbox system as like a
Wii U controller.
Not necessarily, but like
what I think they're trying to do is, I think they're trying to take on the Nexus 7. I think they're trying to take on the iPad, and I think what they think they can do maybe, and they might be able to, is they think they can maybe pull the enthusiast gaming market away from the 3DS and the PS Vita a little bit to boost that market share. That's what I think.
So I think they're gonna. I was thinking of the word. They're gonna try to find a way for this Xbox Surface to be a complement of the Xbox. So just like how they're trying to do with Smart Glass right now, I think it's going to be a much bigger feature on the next Xbox, and they're going to try to implement it a lot more, and that it's going to be a huge marketing point for them as far as interaction between the two go.
I can agree with that. But I think
Yeah.
they're going to market it. I think they're going to market it not just as that, but I think they're going to attempt to market this to the enthusiast gaming market as a sort of higher end. Because I mean, by the time it comes out, it'll be much more powerful than a PS Vita or a 3DS. The question is, are they going to be able to have higher end games on it? That's the question. And of course, if that's the case, if they're going to go after that, I mean, do we even think they'll go after that because they've been so heavily focused on casual games? So maybe they'll just focus on casual games on it. I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say. It's a really tough one to call in that regard.
And it's like it's not going to be running a full version of Windows.
It'll run Windows RT, I would imagine.
Yeah, but like I'm just thinking like it's probably if they're trying to go for that enthusiast market, like what types of games are you going to have on it? Because
right, exactly, and that's what I'm curious about because the trouble is that no tablet could really. It'd be kind of insurmountable, I think, for them to try and go after the enthusiast market because they'd have to first work on a controller that wouldn't be too disruptive to the experience as a tablet.
Mm-hmm.
Then they would have to work on getting people to buy more expensive games on a tablet, which people just haven't really been very receptive to. So it's kind of I think that they would just go after casual gamers on it. I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I think that Xbox, because we think Xbox is becoming more casual anyways.
Yeah, for sure, and that's probably the direction they're going to take, marketing the next Xbox with the Kinect 2 or whatever. That's going to be a huge marketing point for them. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the Xbox Surface. It looks like that's a real thing. It looks like we'll hear about it sometime in the future.
I wouldn't be surprised. They're trying to come up with a response to the Nexus 7 and iPad. I mean, they're also working on their own telephone now, so a cell phone.
Yep. So next rumor is that this is pretty much confirmed as far as I'm concerned, but it's a rumor right now because it's not officially been announced. Uncharted: Fight for Fortune was leaked or rated, you could say, by I think the Australian ratings board, whatever they're called. And yeah, before you get too excited. Apparently, it looks like it's going to be a card battling or casino card type game for the Vita. That was some good use right there. That's perfect. But yeah, like and other than that, like according to the description from those ratings boards, that's what the game is going to be, and it's being. Apparently, it's being developed according to the ratings boards by One Loop Games, which has made mobile versions of stuff like God of War titles and Ratchet and Clank. So really simple stuff. This could be a downloadable title.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking.
Not a full retail title, but I mean,
and I think it would probably come to PS3 too.
It's also not unprecedented though that there's been like a card battle type game that has come to a Sony handheld as attributed by Metal Gear Acid. I mean, that wasn't made specifically by Sony, but that is on, but that was still on the PSP. So, and that's a pretty big franchise turned into a card battle type game. So,
all right.
Yep.
Well,
that's it for the rumors.
Into news, folks. Into news, right? We're going.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so first piece of news is mine, and it's pretty small. Julian Gollop, I don't know, he's like Hungarian or something, announces Chaos sequel. This is a classic ZX Spectrum title. In case you don't know Gollop, he was the creator of XCOM, or co-creator, And this is another game that he made way back when. It went towards the end of the ZX Spectrum's lifespan. In a poll, this was rated, I think, the 5th best ZX Spectrum game of all time. And our American listeners are probably thinking, what the hell? But ZX Spectrum was actually giant in Europe.
Oh, yeah, no, that ZX
Yeah.
Spectrum versus, like, I think it was Commodore 64, like, those two things, like, battled it out during that era in Europe.
So, I mean,
those
this is a
personal
pretty big
computers
deal
were
because, I mean, the ZX Spectrum had like over 10,000 games or something like that. It was an absolutely massive library. So to be in the top 5 on it is a pretty big deal.
You ask any European, like, they know about a gamer. They'll know about the ZX Spectrum. Yeah.
It's a big. But anyways, Chaos was like sort of a legendary title, and I just looked it up. ZX Spectrum has over 24,000 known software titles.
Wow. I thought there were still people making games for it.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are.
So
There are people still making games for
that's
it.
just telling you how popular it was over there. It was huge.
Yep.
All right, so the next piece of news is that Treasure, the makers of games like Sin and Punishment and Gunstar Heroes, they are making a 3DS exclusive action title. We have no real information on what this game's going to be, other than it is being developed by Treasure and it's going to be for the 3DS. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. If there's any indication from their past games, it will be very cool. So that's another cool 3DS title we'll be getting in the future. And then Way Forward also announced for the 3DS eShop Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. If you don't know the Shantae series, it's like a action platform type game. It's pretty highly regarded in terms of platforming fans. I have actually never played a Shantae game before because the Game Boy Color version, the Game Boy Color version is freaking expensive. Like the cart alone can go for over $100 by itself. So that's I don't even know if that's been released on like it's going to be released on the eShop Virtual Console, but I'm not gonna pick that up. The 3DS, there's another 3DS Shantae game that's $12, which is why I never got it because that's a little bit pricey for an eShop title. So yeah, that's that.
All right. New Sonic. This is not very surprising. New Sonic game in 2013. We don't really know anything about it. Basically, Sega Europe head of brand licensing, Cecil Heno, basically said over the next year there will be a big focus, a brand new Sonic game for net consoles next year. Nothing really surprising and not much news on it, but basically
it is a retail. It will be a retail title, boxed Sonic game. So that's all we pretty much know about that so far. Maybe it's Sonic Adventure 3. Who knows?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
we were talking about that rumor a few podcasts ago.
Yeah, that's true. We were.
Yeah, this kind of surprising me. Something that it'll appeal to your furry fetish, Spencer.
It's not the same, dude. Even the people on NeoGAF are like, yeah, there's like the Elysian Tale is creepy.
Well,
about half of the people who replied to that thread were like, yeah, it's creepy.
Speaking of furries, Solo Torobo, a sequel to that, is apparently in the works by CyberConnect 2. That's who develops it, right?
Yeah,
CyberConnect 2. This is kind of surprising to me. I didn't think the game really sold all that well.
Well, this just shows you what happens when a developer, makes their games within a reasonable budget that can survive on low volume.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it wasn't like the game didn't feel super low budget. I mean, for a DS title, it felt actually kind of like a bigger game for the DS with animated cutscenes and 3D graphics and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a pretty good surprise, and it's probably going to come to the 3DS, I would assume. That's not confirmed, but we'll see what happens with that one.
All right, next piece of news is that the next Pixel Junk game is actually being developed for PC. It's switching from PS3 to PC, and they explained that this is because they wanted to try something different with the development. They said, every week expect to see our development logs, concepts, technical notes, and more as we tinker away on Pixel Junk 1 to 6. Most importantly, you're welcome to join in. We love chatting with you guys. So as always, we'll be lurking around here to answer any questions and take suggestions. We haven't even thought of a name yet. The game will be co-op and have a gajillion quote unquote robots. And the only one image has been released so far. It's not really clear what it is, but it looks cool looking. And Pixel Junk 1 to 6, in case you didn't catch on, is the working title. So, yeah, not much to say on that.
Yeah,
and then the next piece of news. Oh, sorry.
The only Pixel Junk game I've played is Pixel Junk Monsters on the PSP, and I didn't like that one because it was a tower defense game. But apparently it was very highly regarded. So the Pixel Junk games are pretty.
It was kind of at the front. It was kind of early in the tower defense scene, so it wasn't as stale then.
That's true. I never liked tower defense myself, so
I remember liking it when I had like the PS3 demo, but it was like tower defense was like just starting up.
Mm-hmm.
This game has already come out on Steam, but
I think it just came out today.
I think it did actually.
Officially, it was supposed to come out today, but
it's out. Yeah, I checked on Steam earlier. It's out. So many moons ago, I reported on a rumor that I had an inside source on, so it was pretty much confirmation that Cinemora was coming to PC, and I said it was going to come out in September. It got delayed, obviously, but it is now out. It's on Steam, and the rumor has been confirmed true. The reason we're reporting on this is because we just wanted to follow it up. Know that we do not report on rumors at Real Buttons unless our sources are concrete.
Yes. And no word on the PS3 and Vita versions yet.
I know that's hilarious.
Because
the
they
PS3 versions were announced forever ago.
Yeah, and
they announced those PS3.
The funniest part is they were like, "When is it coming to PS3 and Vita?" Quote, soon. Like that was way back in the day. They said that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think they're probably. Because I don't think the sales are very good on PSN. I don't know, though. I mean, it just seems like a lot of people don't really bother with the platform anymore.
But still, if they've already been working on it, I'd just release it anyway. I mean...
Well, I mean, they announced, they didn't even officially announce Cinemora PC until...
a week before.
No, it was like a month before. So it was like in August, I think they announced it. But it was like in some obscure online interview.
Yeah, but
they announced it.
They officially made the announcement like a week ago, and they were saying that it was coming.
The first time, I just want people to know this. The first time the game was publicly spoken of was like on August 30th by a company representative. It wasn't a company representative. It was somebody in management, and it was in an interview with like Prankster Online or something like that. The only reason I know about this obscure interview is because I was reading up on Cinemora's thread. On shmup.com, and it was they were, and in the thread it got posted, and everybody was excited because they wanted a PC version, and this was the first public announcement of it, except for ours because we had the sources on this. But we announced it in June.
Obviously, gets their news from us. So.
I announced it in June. That's when I had the rumor and we reported on it. So we were like 4 months ahead of the curve. But anyways,
3.
Yeah.
3 months.
Anyways.
But yeah. So GTA 5, like everyone's been anticipating like a bunch of new information for GTA 5, and there were some retailer items that got pictures leaked out that showed that the game's actually going to be releasing in spring of 2013 for 360 and PS3. Those are the announced titles. And recently there's been some more information on GTA 5. Like how there will be 3 main playable characters, and I think they're all going to have like completely different stories that go along with them. But I didn't really look too much into it because I kind of don't care because I was never a big fan of.
I'm not a fan of GTA.
I just think the actual single player is pretty lackluster. I think
the entire game is lackluster.
I do.
The games are always cruddy.
I think it's fun to fuck around in GTA games, but I never.
Saints Row's a lot better. Saints Row's I've been kind of shocked by how much better Saints Row is.
as far as like crazy things and shit, yeah, Saints Row just
Just
goes
in terms
above
of
and
everything,
beyond.
in terms of like just in general screwing around in the world, it's a lot more fun in terms of the
Well, there's a
driving
lot more
physics, in
crazy
terms of
things. Like you got
but
those.
even in terms of the single player, dude, like in like the single player, like there's way better set pieces. Like in GTA, it's like, oh, drive here and do this, and it's like, and then Saints Row, it's like drive here and do this, but then we're gonna have you like parachute into something, and like you're gonna like there's all these radical like cool set pieces in Saints Row, and there's like cool. Like I mean, like the game is just way. I'm sorry, like Saints after playing Saints Row the Third, way better than Grand Theft Auto. Like honestly, like Grand Theft Auto is kind of it's always been kind of a crappy series, but it's like call me a troll if you will. I really don't care. But I mean, it's too fetch questy for me. The storylines are always kind of poorly written, and Saints Row is no masterpiece in terms of storyline, but it doesn't take itself as anywhere near as seriously as Grand Theft Auto does. Like Grand Theft Auto takes itself super seriously, and then you're just like, this story's like fucking sucks. It's really poorly written.
I personally have like I don't think the GTA games are bad the way they're
really
designed,
mediocre.
but I personally just don't find their
Best
missions fun.
best way to play GTA: pile up a bunch of cars in an intersection, find a ramp that you can drive off and then land into the intersection. Just keep on piling cars in there until the cops show up, and then like hold out as long as you can. That's how I play it. That's the only thing that's fun for me in GTA.
I remember there's some really cool actual like story sequences in San Andreas. Like there was like an Ocean's 11 type mission in that game. That was pretty cool. But
I think there's just some really good set pieces in Saints Row the Third. It's a really cool game. But yeah, I mean, I'm not very impressed with open world games in general. So don't. I mean, I think Saints Row is better, but I still don't I don't love the franchise, and it's also a little too heavy on the DLC. So wait for the Game of the Year version if THQ makes it that long. But anyways. Next piece of news, this is pretty big. Diablo 3 sells 10 million units, and this is why everybody says that PC gaming is dying, because Diablo 3 is a PlayStation 3 exclusive, no, it isn't. It's a PC exclusive, and it's still 10 million units. So, pretty impressive. I mean, how long has the game been out? It's been out for 3 months or something, or...
I don't know. I don't know.
May. It's been out since Diablo 3 launched back in May. It sold 3.5 million units in the first 24 hours. And basically, it sold 10 million. They announced, Activision Blizzard announced an expansion is incoming. We don't really have any too many details on that, just that an expansion is coming. There's no date, so yeah. Anyways, and then the next piece of news, also Activision Blizzard related in part of this story, is World of Warcraft has rebounded from its low of 9.1 million subscribers in the past couple of years. That's the lowest it's been, and after Mists of Pandaria, it's back above 10 million subscribers. Not much to really say there.
It just boggles my mind that there's still so many subscribers to World of Warcraft. I mean, it's been... When was it released in 2004? Or...
I think so. I'm pretty sure World of Warcraft is from 2004. Man,
8 years since that game came out.
I'm looking it up.
And there's still that many players.
Yeah, November 2004. Damn. Yep. And then... last piece of Activision Blizzard news is that StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm should be out in Q1 2013.
Yep.
So yeah, look for it in January or February.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the next few pieces of news are all Wii U related. They're specific information that we finally got from Nintendo for some of their different services, online, Miiverse, eShop. And the first thing is their Digital Deluxe promotion, which comes with the deluxe set of the Wii U, as well as Nintendo Land and stuff. So what this is we knew it existed before. I think back in September they announced it, but we didn't know exactly the specific details. So now we know that for every single digital purchase, whether it be DLC, whether it be games from third parties, games from Nintendo themselves. You'll get 10% back on every single purchase you make digitally through the Wii U eShop, and you get uh, you get credit to spend on your next purchase. You get it after you acquire up to 500 points. So you get you get your codes in 500 point increments, which 500 points equals $5. So say you spend $50. Wow, I didn't even know that sound effect existed. But yeah, yeah. So spend $50, you get $5 back. I mean, it's a pretty nice promotion to get you to buy some digital titles, and I mean, it's in Japan and stuff. Like the digital games are already cheaper than the retail titles, so if you buy the more money in your pocket. Keep it going. So much cash.
Yeah, lots
but
of
yeah.
cash being generated there.
Yeah, that's cool, and that goes up until December 2014 for deluxe set owners. So it's a good 2 years to rack up. Yeah, yeah. That's a good 2 years for you to rack up that cash. Hint, hint. That cash. There you go. And but yeah, going on to from there, going on to the eShop, we got some specific news about what's actually going to be available on the eShop. This is all basic stuff that probably should be there, and we now know that it will be there. There's going to be game demos for most games. There's going to be HD videos for games, and if it's anything like the 3DS eShop, there's going to be a video for every single title on there. So as there should be, HD images, and the videos can be viewed on the gamepad. You can see the player ratings, check Miiverse comments, which is kind of cool. And you can actually download games and DLC and stuff like that in the eShop while a game is actually running. So I think that's pretty cool. That's probably where that 1 gigabyte of system memory is going towards, as well as like the internet browser and stuff. But yeah, that's that for the eShop stuff. And then they held their a Nintendo Direct conference, whatever you want to call it, I think a few days ago, and they detailed Miiverse as well as some of their online functionality. So we knew about this, but when you power on your system, it's going to go to something called the Wara Wara Plaza, and this is where you'll be able to see a bunch of Miis go around, and that's where you'll see where all the games that you're playing and what other people are playing, and then comments on those games. So the interface seemed pretty cool, and they showed off the user interface that shows up on the gamepad. It's a little bit like the channel system of the Wii, but it's more like the 3DS. So they've got those little tabs, and all of your stuff goes there if you're familiar with that. Let's see here. What did they announce? Oh, so there's a video chat option where you can video chat with any one of your friends. And during the video chat, you can actually like draw on someone's face using the gamepad, and they'll be able to see it on the screen and whatnot. And they showed off of. Oh, what's wrong with that, Spencer? Huh? They showed off of it.
Drawing on your friend's face. This is next gen. Hey, this calls for that image I made of the dude where it's like from the Wonderful 101 or whatever, where it's all, and then I wrote next gen on it. That was gold. That was golden.
Yeah. But yeah, they showed off a video of like Iwata and Reggie awkwardly talking together through this chat and drawing on each other's faces. But so they also announced that we finally know that there's an account system for the Wii U. We knew that was rumored, but they officially announced it. Thank God. There's up to 12 accounts per system. Yes. up to 12 accounts per system, and you'll have a me associated with that account. So game settings, save data, they're all tied to each of these user accounts. And another cool thing, it's just like the PS3. Any title downloaded from one user can be played by any other user on the system. So if you download something like any eShop game, anyone can play it. Any one of your accounts can play it. So that's cool. What else?
Nothing.
There was some other stuff. I guess that's most of what it's about. Miiverse they showed off a little bit more of. You can make comments, all of that. But yeah, that's basically the big stuff. So Wii U comes out in like a week, but we'll see more about the interface and everything when it comes out. And I'll have impressions of the Wii U when it comes out. So look out for that.
All right. Next piece of news is
I fucking laughed when I saw it. I didn't even see this until Spencer posted it.
This is fucking
man.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, the in studio
Get the
audience.
laugh track in there. Yeah.
That's an in studio audience. Anyways,
Okay. Exactly.
It's an in studio audience. No, freaking. So this is terrible. Like, I don't understand the thinking behind this at all, and it's a really freaking bad idea, and it means I will never buy a Razer product ever. I will stick with Cooler Master products, Cooler Master Storm gaming products, and maybe Logitech, I guess. I don't know. I mean, Cooler Master has been good to me, so that's what I use. But no, I don't get the thinking behind this. Razer Naga gaming mouse requires always online internet connection. License agreement says they can use this to spy on you. So basically, it has always online DRM.
Hey, Spencer.
What?
Hey, Spencer. I think I'm gonna pirate this Razer mouse.
I know. It's just like,
I think,
what the fuck?
Yeah, like I think that's what we're gonna do. Like that's why they implemented this DRM system. I guess people like us.
They gotta watch out for those 3D printers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. The maker bots of the world.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. Really, it's a really bad idea, and I think it's really gonna hurt. I think it's gonna hurt Razer's reputation. Like, I think it's irreparable, the damage they've done, personally.
Oh yeah. What? And with that, we will be moving on to the next news story. This was pretty huge news when it came out.
Yeah, it was big.
Disney acquired Lucasfilms as well as LucasArts, which is their gaming side, for $4.
There's not really much to say about it, though.
Well, but they acquired them for $4.05 billion, which is the
which
same
seems
amount.
like too little to me.
When you compare it to what they bought Marvel for, they actually bought Marvel a few years ago for this same amount,
which was not enough either.
Yeah, but this could, like this. So they now have the Star Wars. They have the rights to Star Wars and stuff like Indiana Jones now. So the way it's not going to affect something like Star Wars 1313 that's already in development, but what Disney does with these franchises from here on out, I think it'll be interesting to see. Because I think I'm not too sure, but I think during their press release, they were talking about how they didn't want to make like full-blown games anymore, and they wanted to like release more casual stuff. And if you release casual stuff with this type of these big franchises, I mean, obviously they'll sell it because it's Star Wars, but I mean, Star Wars is going to sell on any platform, and people really want something like Star Wars Battlefront 3. So I'm not sure if that'll be coming from Disney or not. We'll have to see.
I mean, LucasArts, to be fair, has been on a downward trend since the days of when they pretty much ousted Tim Schafer and Ron
Yeah, I
Gilbert
mean,
and all
now,
that, and
yeah,
they quit
now
making.
they also own like the rights to stuff like Full Throttle and
Hmm.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
and Monkey Island and stuff like that.
yeah, the
But all
funniest,
right,
I think the
yeah.
funniest part of this that wasn't gaming related is that during their press release they actually announced they're going to be releasing Star Wars Episode 7 in 2015, and they're going to be making a brand new trilogy. New movie every 2 to 3 years. Look out for Star Wars Episode 7. If Star Wars Episode 1, 2, and 3 didn't tickle your fancy, get ready for Star Wars Episode 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for Lucasfilm.
All right,
and
next
LucasArts.
piece of news is yet again another iOS massive failure. It seems like we're getting one of these once a week. So,
Sorry. But that goes on a little longer than I would want. You know, it should be a little bit shorter than that. It's not the exact
Yeah.
same blah as
Um,
the Inception one. Oh well.
So basically, this is game Punch Quest by Rocket Cat. They went free to play, and I don't really know what to say about this. It's been downloaded 630,000 times. It's one of the highest rated games for iOS on Metacritic. It was Rocket Cat's first foray into free to play on the platform. They did have previous games on iOS, and they said we wanted to try free and in-app purchases because we really needed to expand how many people knew about our games, says Rocket Cat's Kepa Aowe. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Being seen on the App Store is hard, and we need more people to know about us so that we can grow.
Well, they got
were
that
hoping
part
that-
done.
Yeah, they did grow. Basically, it was designed from the beginning to be a free-to-play experience with built-in virtual economy. They were hoping, and this is where I'm just like, I don't really feel bad because they should have seen this and then moved on, but whatever. They were hoping that it would do better than their previous paid releases that didn't do very well, Super Quick Hook and Mage Gauntlet. So what I don't understand, and I cracked this joke to Naveed earlier. You release two games on the same platform, they fail, and then you say to yourself, "Yeah, let's make our third one for the same platform and make it free." I don't get it.
I don't think I do either. I mean,
Yeah, so despite
I don't know. I can't really come up with the logic behind that.
Okay,
Other
so
than,
the
more
reality-
people are going to have it, and
Yeah,
more
I don't
people
know.
have it, maybe they'll buy more stuff, but
not
the
really, because
reality
it's
is that-
it's at 600. It's at 600,000. How many
Well,
downloads?
exactly.
630,000. When this was written, this article is from October 31st.
yeah.
So 630,000 units downloaded. It just as of October 31st, it had been out for it had been out. I don't know how long it had been. Oh yeah, it had been out for a week and by the end of that week it had 630,000 downloads. By the end of that week, it had barely crossed into the five-figure mark. So like low 10,000s
Mhm.
out of six in terms of revenue generated. So 630,000 users. You're talking, I mean, no money. I mean, absolutely no money generated off of these people. I mean, I don't know. What are you thinking here? I mean, it's like this means
I don't know.
that you're getting less than a dime per user. You're getting less than a nickel per user.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just nuts. Why are they still doing this stuff? I mean, they're going to run themselves in the... This is like if you get this is like a little more than this is like point one. This is like 1.5 cents per user you're getting. I mean, it's like it's nuts. These it's just like
they're looking
I
at
don't
all
know,
these
man.
like big developers that got frankly probably lucky going to iOS and
Well, no,
these
but I mean, when
social.
you remember when we went over this with like Epic Games, like the only reason that
Yeah,
that game was successful for them was they had millions of dollars in free advertising from Apple, and that was
yeah,
the agreement they made with Apple to make the game. But I mean, it's just like this is nuts. This has got to stop. They've got to quit screwing around on these. This is a platform for Flash games. Make your little Flash games that don't put your livelihood behind it, but just make your little Flash games. Charge your 99 cents and move on. This is a
yeah,
casual audience. This is not an audience that you're going to be able to sell to. Casual audiences are by definition fleeting. I mean, it's just you see all these big companies, Sega and stuff like that, putting all this money behind it. They're gonna run into a brick wall, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt hard because the thing is that this platform cannot support people, and we're seeing one major successful quote unquote iOS game a week, and then we get these reports that the finances are just terrible, terrible. So I mean, I don't know what are you guys thinking? You release 2 games that are paid, they flop, then you make a third one that's free to play, it flops, and I mean, we got these reports of these people going basically homeless from not these ones, but in the the previous stories we've had. It's just
yep.
I don't know what they're thinking, dude. Like they just need to buckle up and make some real games on real platforms. Talking
Yeah.
Steam here, folks. Get yourself on Steam. Get over it. Quit screwing around on the iOS just because you think Apple's cool and stylish or whatever reason you have for being on there. I don't know what it is, but make games for platforms that people care about. I mean, even if it's it's just like it's just nuts. I don't get it. I really
Yeah.
don't.
Go somewhere where
It's
where the actual users,
are
want.
Are.
Well,
The people
there
who will
are
buy
users. There are users on iOS, but what they will be willing to buy is completely different than
yeah, they're not gonna.
users on Steam or even consoles. It's like
And the other thing is that
the users on iOS look for cheap, quick
yeah.
titles. They're
Well, and
not.
it's like you look at something. I was reading on posts on NeoGAF, and there was something that kind of it's like kind of what I've been saying is this is devaluing content too, because you look at the new Scribblenauts on Wii U. That's a $60 game, and then the game the iOS version's $1. And you may say, well, yeah, the Wii U version's better, but is it $59 better? Because I don't think it is. I don't think that game is $59 better. So how come I'm going to buy that when I can just get it for $1? I mean, it's just like I'm not going to. That's the answer. It's like like Jet Set Radio HD. I'm not going to spend over $5 on that game because it has an iOS version, and that's I know that it's going to get down to like $1 on there, $1.99. So I want to pay within that much money. And I'm not the only person thinking this. You go on like PC sites and they're like, oh, it's like it's free to play on tablets. Why are they charging us on PC? It's like
Yeah.
that's just what's happening, and it's just like they're gonna have to move away from this because I mean, it's one thing if you're releasing a game that is separate. If you want to release like some little small game, if you want to play it like Tommy Rafinez said, Rafinez, I don't know how you pronounce the last name as always,
I think it's Rafinez.
Rafinez, and just represent your brand on iOS, that's one thing. But if you're releasing the exact same games on iOS as you are on other platforms, you're making a huge mistake because you're going to devalue the brand fast.
Yeah.
What you want to do is you want to do it like what Ubisoft does for Assassin's Creed, where they just have some little crappy 2D, 2.5D platformer that plays terribly, or like the Mirror's Edge sort of type thing, where it's just a crap little Tiger Electronics game for casual users, and it represents your brand, and you can make a little bit of money back on it. That's what you need to be doing.
And even while these games like Scribblenauts that come out on iOS, there's a ton of in-app purchases and stuff, even though it's really cheap. But like casual
I don't think there
players,
is for Scribblenauts actually
I think there is
on iOS.
I thought there was, but like other games, maybe like Ghost Trick or something. You see something like that, you get it for free, but you have to buy the actual.
Chapters or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, but like casual
You get the
users
first 2
don't.
chapters for free.
They don't look at that. They look at, oh, this game's really cheap. I'll just get it on here. I mean, they don't always go and look at all the extra stuff you might have to buy to get like the full experience of the game.
Right. I just think it's a waste of time to be on these platforms, and I think that's a distraction for the industry. I think it's siphoning off good developers who don't have good business sense. I just think it's a bad idea in general. I think it's a good thing if you want to make your little flash games for it and sell those for 99 cents or $1.99. If you think it's any more than that, like a lot of these developers clearly do.
Super Hexagon's a perfect example of that. Like, that is a perfect simple flash game that he's selling for 99 cents. So
yeah, you just want to make something like Cannibalt. Cannibalt's perfect for iOS, but at the same time, don't come to PC and expect to sell it for anything. Like Cannibalt's a great example because on PC it's free. You can play the Flash version in your browser for free. But if you buy it on your little iOS device or your Android, it's 99 cents. And that's a perfect example. That's what you want to do with these little games. You don't want to be investing. You don't want to start a company based off of these games. You don't want to make your livelihood off of them.
Those are the types of games that work on these platforms. Like, it may not be a very deep gaming experience at all, but that's not what the people who play these games are looking for. It's like they're looking for 5 minutes.
It's time for people to get over that. It's really time for people to get over that because we're constantly these people who want to see it expand and grow. It's not going to, and it's going to be this forever. That's what it is. That's what it started as. That's what it's going to be. It's not going to change now because that's the market.
Unless Apple adds
buttons, and hardcore gamers wants more.
Yeah,
and even then,
they never will.
I mean, how many hardcore gamers do you think would go for that? Because from the hardcore gamers' perspective, there's a number of issues with this. One, now Apple has switched to a 6-month update cycle pretty much. Yeah. I don't want to buy a new tablet every single 6 months. It's also horrendously expensive, and also the games are still going to be riddled with in-app purchases and still cost 99 cents to $1.99 because that's what the majority of the market will bear on that platform. So, I mean, I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to stick to my PC. I want the whole variety of price ranges that PC already has because that's how PC started and it has always been. And, if something happens on the 3DS that I think looks cool and the 3DS XL gets to a price that I can bear, down the road, I'll take a look. But I mean, it's like this is not for me. No.
Yep.
And I'm a core gamer. Phil's not interested. You're not interested. Nobody's interested other than Smokey Dave.
I hope he listens to this podcast. That wasn't even a joke.
Yeah. Whatever.
But anyway,
they laughed. They laughed.
I mean, yeah, our audience really loves it. We got a great audience over here. Our studio audience knows what's up. But yeah, we know how to please them.
We do.
All right.
Next,
I guess we can move on from that.
Is Introversion, who's talking about indie gaming making indie games for consoles.
For now.
So these are the guys, Introversion, in case you don't know. They made Darwinia, they made Uplink, they're making this thus far quite successful Prison Architect. Basically, they said they were recently speaking to Video Games 24/7. Basically, they're not going to be doing Prison Architect on Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, and the reason they said is because it's very prohibitive. The cost is very prohibitive to acquire test kits and to meet the quality standards.
And that blew my mind. I didn't know those dev kit numbers before I saw this article. Like,
oh yeah, I knew. I did.
That blows my mind how expensive it is just to buy a freaking dev kit.
Yeah,
like because the hardware is the same, right? I mean, you got probably a little bit different hardware in there, but is it worth $10,000 to like whatever he said? I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, and then you got the cost of patching, which is also in the 5 figures if you go beyond the one free patch. So
right.
I don't know. Basically, Mark Morris, the co-founder of Introversion, said in the interview he told Microsoft and Sony to piss off after calling them second-class customers in terms of clients that he can release to. If you look at our position, we're 2 guys. although although we're a little bit bigger than that, working on a game we've launched ourselves. Morris said we're in alpha and we're seeing money now, which is enabling us to carry on developing. Morris believes shelling $10,000 for a console development kit is a ridiculous hurdle for indie teams seeking a break into the Xbox and PlayStation digital markets, and it's non-refundable once you've bought it, he added. I think our quality assurance bill was $30,000 for testing with Darwinia Plus, and it took 4 years to get that game certified to a standard that Microsoft wanted. It then sold rubbish. We hardly shipped any units on Xbox 360 compared to PC. There is a strong indie community now on PC that doesn't exist within the console world, and they've tried various ways to tap into that with Xbox Live Arcade and Xbox Indie Games, and they just never managed in the way Steam has. Morris also stated Introversion holds no interest towards a possible console port for Prison Architect. That is, unless Big Green and Big S see the error of their ways. Microsoft, Sony have come along and says, well, we don't want to have your game second. We want to be first, he continued. Well, they can't be first. We're on PC because they've made it too hard. Also, they want exclusive content so they can piss off. You're not delivering the amount of sales. You're making us work harder, and ultimately we're getting paid less than what we do on PC. So I think they're definitely in the indie world second-class customers. If they want to work with us, if they want indie games on their systems, they're going to have to change quite a lot to make it attractive.
Yeah.
Basically what we've been hearing everywhere.
I think that's
indies
starting
don't want
to
to work with
change,
the console
though.
guys.
Like, hopefully it starts to change with the newer consoles, because I think these companies are starting to realize how big indie games are starting to get. I mean, some of the biggest stuff for Xbox is actually coming out on XBLA. So Microsoft and Sony, I think they know how important these indie games are, and how what we've been seeing with Wii U so far indicates that, you know, that's a platform that indie devs are looking that they seem to think that is a good platform to release their games on right now, because apparently a lot of people are saying a lot of the stuff is like Steam, while maybe not as good. They're saying some of the processes are similar as far as getting your games greenlit and stuff like that. So we'll see where that goes. I think it's going to get better as next-gen systems start rolling around, but right now, yeah, it's awful. It's just really bad on consoles, especially 360, the way they've handled a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but Microsoft has lost all goodwill that they had in the indie market.
Yeah.
Absolutely all of it's gone and evaporated.
Yeah, I don't know why these... I mean, I guess these guys that still are releasing their games on, like, during these Xbox Live, Summer of Arcade, like, they get exclusivity or whatever for whatever amount of time. They probably signed these contracts, like, years before they actually release these games, right? So
yeah, typically,
yeah,
because they need the money, so they take, because Microsoft gives them money up front for signing the contract, so they can continue to support themselves while they work on the game, and then they get tied into these year-long exclusivity contracts, and then they're fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, in the case of Skulls of Shogun, I think in future, I think Microsoft is actually getting worse, because with Skulls of Shogun, what we heard was that they had two options. One, they could release exclusively to the games for Windows Live, or two, they could release to Windows 8 exclusively, but be able to go to other stores, which is just a shit deal. Deal for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's really bad. It seems like Wii U's doing some good stuff, though, because like even recently we've been hearing like a lot of people are talking about we might be porting our stuff to Wii U, games that are coming out only on PC. Like that, there's that one flipbook game you showed me a while back. I totally forgot what it was called.
Tenkami or whatever.
Yeah, like those guys were talking about possibly releasing that on Wii U. They were talking to Nintendo about it and how that they think it's a good platform, but we'll see what happens.
All right, next piece of news.
Next piece of news is Silicon Knights. So they stupidly sued Epic Games a while back because they said that the Unreal Engine was not a complete engine or something like that. Yeah, thanks for that, studio audience. It was yeah, appropriate time to laugh. But now that they've unsurprisingly lost this lawsuit, they have been issued to destroy all, or they've been ordered to destroy all their software that has Unreal code. So basically, they're saying like, take all your unsold copies take all your unsold copies of 2 Human, go into some desert in New Mexico, and bury them in a landfill or something like that. But yeah, so Silicon Knights is in a bad position right now.
Yeah, they're in really bad
It was an
position.
awful-
They've lost so much because they had to pay for the damages to Epic, which I think was like 45 million or some shit like that.
I just remember when 2 Human was planned to be a trilogy. Like that seems like such a long time ago now.
I just remember it at E3 when it was all like janky and slow and just constant frame drop.
Yeah.
It just
Not a good situation for those Silicon Knights guys. And I mean,
Dennis made a mistake. Oh, and they had to pay 4.45 million in damages.
Ooh.
Anyways, yeah.
yeah, but still, like they've had a decent track record with stuff, but it's not good for them at all. Yeah, and then going on to something else that's kind of funny. Capcom was talking about their new Devil May Cry game, and what they said was Devil May Cry looks and feels like 60 frames per second. It's actually 30 frames per second, but it can look and feel like 60 frames per second, right? It's the same thing. And you know what? I think 60 frames per second actually is tiring for your eyes. 30 frames per second, it makes your eyes feel a little bit better. If you haven't realized yet, I'm talking about what Capcom has been saying. They said that 60 frames per second is actually tiring for your eyes. That boggles my mind. Why would you say something like that? Oh,
I don't know.
So it's like this quote. Itsuno said, "Action games that run at 60 frames per second can have a tiring effect on players' eyes after a long time because the frames themselves almost shake or flash. Because of this, adjusting the speed is almost necessary." Isn't Bayonetta 60 frames per second?
On 360, I think.
Yeah. I don't remember that hurting my eyes.
I don't know, dude. It's
That's
just a bullshit excuse. I don't know.
It's
It was pathetic.
I added this because it was extremely funny to me. But
God, man, you guys are like stoned or something, man.
I know.
Just, like laughing away
Jeez,
late or something. I don't know.
I said it was funny. That wasn't a joke. Just okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. I can get on. That's it for that.
All right, next piece of news. This is hilarious. Huh? No?
What?
No?
Oh. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're catching
There we
on.
go. They're catching on. EA's digital distribution service Origin now has 30 million registered users. Now, here's the thing. 30 million. You think, oh, wow, that's pretty good. Not actually that good. Let's keep in mind, last update as of September, Steam had 50 million active users. So how many active users does Origin have? Origin has 4.4 million.
Wonder how many of those are recent.
And this is the other thing that Naveed brought up. Naveed recently, when I brought this up to him, basically they reported this directly after the coupon glitch, which was top story on Reddit. It was like huge on GAF on pretty much any portion of the web. This was massive news. I signed up solely to take advantage of this. Naveed signed up solely to take advantage of this. And I made an account for Phil solely to sign up for this. So, so you look at that's 100% of
this.
yeah, you got to look at like why'd they mention this directly after that happened, and it's pretty clever because it makes them probably look better, their stockholders, after this terrible piece of news.
Yeah. Although their
I
stocks
don't really
did go
know,
down,
but I will say this. Yeah, well, 100% of the people I know who use Origin only use it for free games. So, because I hate EA, I freaking hate Origin. I hate it. I freaking despise it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but on the bright side, free games for us, huh?
Yep. Oh yeah, that was great, fantastic. And Battlefield, yeah, Battlefield 19. What was it? Forgot.
42 or 41.
42. 42. Yeah, 1942. Yeah, that was free too. I got that. So more free games
Yeah.
from Origin.
Yeah.
If they keep
The only thing we use it for.
if they keep bringing on the free games, I'll be using Origin.
Yeah.
So, in other EA news, get that sad trumpet ready, Spencer. They
I'm
have
working
lost.
on it. Wait one second. There we go.
They have lost $381 million in their quarter two fiscal year. There we go.
God damn it! It's like glitching on me. Anyways,
Oh
yeah,
no.
they lost
But
a
yeah.
shit ton of money.
Yeah, they did. And it says it's offset by a 38.5% digital upswing, but I don't know if that is really. I thought offset meant that that'd be like zero, but this is like 381 million in the negative side. Don't worry about that other 381 million. It's offset by the digital upswing. So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really. EA's hemorrhaging money. What's actually super good news though is we didn't add it to the cast, but Sega, who's had some recent financial troubles, only lost $6 million this past quarter, which is actually fantastic. So I mean, I think I don't remember how much Nintendo lost. Wasn't it like 237 million or something? So I mean, Sega losing only 6 million is like wow. It's like
yeah, but Nintendo has like so much money in the bank at this point, and this is all because of 3DS.
Yeah, they do.
And
well, to be fair, actually,
and they're
Sega,
still going to be losing money
Sega,
on Wii U. So
Sega Sammy actually has $2 billion on hand.
yeah.
They do have $2 billion on hand but they just they've been losing some money these past couple of quarters. So, Sega's been doing pretty well though. They actually said their retail titles drastically this past quarter outpaced their expectations. So it's kind of like it's funny that they pulled back on retail titles and now they're doing better than they were supposed to.
Maybe that's part of their plan. Maybe that was actually for the fact that they only released these few series retail now. So
I don't know.
I mean, Football Manager's be huge. They just released that.
Oh god, it's freaking selling. I think it's sold like 600. I don't know the official sales numbers. My prediction is that it sold 600K to 700K on Steam so far. But no. So THQ's not doing so hot. They're looking for cash
Not
options.
really.
They've had to delay Company of Heroes 2. They've had to delay Metro Last Light. They've had to delay South Park. I think this is really sad. THQ is probably my favorite of the big Western publishers. They take a lot of risks. I think they've probably been the most. I think they've taken more risks this generation than just about any other publisher, and I feel like most of those risks turned out well, and I don't feel like they were rewarded for it at all, which is kind of a shame.
They were for the original U-Draw on the Wii.
Yeah, I'm not talking about so much that stuff. I'm talking about like Darksiders. I think was risky.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, like Darksiders, I think was really risky. When you look at Darksiders, like a Zelda like has never really done well outside of Zelda, and even Zelda itself isn't like a massive franchise. So it's like,
No.
and then also the art style was rather non-traditional, and you look at like I think Metro was really risky. I think a single player centric.
I think
a single player centric FPS.
Yeah,
is risky.
in these markets, in this market right now, and
especially like it's a horror first-person shooter. It's not even really just a plain first-person shooter. It's a scary game in my opinion.
Yeah, it was creepy. It wasn't like super scary for me, but
The Blob was a risk.
But that was successful for them for the Wii one. But after they released the Blob 2, that just went downhill from there. So.
I think Red Faction Guerrilla was really risky because it entirely changed the formula of the Red Faction series. It was a first-person shooter. They made it an open-world third-person shooter, and it was actually well received. That was a big risk. I think Saints Row was a big risk. I think they've taken a ton of risks this generation, and some have panned out, some haven't. But I just think it's a real shame that the THQ goes under.
Saints Row 3 was a pretty big success for that. I think there was just a report that showed that they shipped 5 million units of Saints Row the Third.
6 million, I think.
6 million?
6 million.
Yeah, okay, so that's
pretty sure.
That's pretty good.
Which is not, but I mean, Darksiders 2 underperformed and all that, so I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
I think that I think Saints Row, they had a profitable quarter primarily due that. They had like a $15 million profit in a quarter just because of Saints Row, but I don't know, man. If they can't make it till next year, I really think stuff like I think South Park is terrible for the company, but I really think stuff like Metro Last Light and Company of Heroes 2 could. I think those games. I think they have the potential to keep the company afloat just long, and then they'll have to work on something else. But I mean, the first Metro game I think has done 2 million units now. It was wildly successful. I think they developed it on like a $4 million budget. And I think that the sequel, I think it has like a $7 million or $8 million budget. It's a little bit of a bigger budget, but it's like
game.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that Metro Last Light does gangbusters. It really deserves to. It's a great series. Metro 2033, like, it scared the pants off me, so I couldn't finish it. But like, what I played was, other than like some of the wonky hit detection, that game is honestly fantastic. Like, that game is excellent.
And you heard me rave about it on one of those podcasts, so
yeah. I mean, I told Naveed to check it out. He was going to get it on 360. I'm really glad he got it on PC because it doesn't.
I don't think I was actually looking forward. Oh wait, no. Before I actually got my PC, I was looking to get that, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were looking on getting it on 360 because
you were playing it. Yeah, you were playing it before I got my PC. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then I wanted you to play it, and you finally. I forget why you took me up on the offer. Was it just because I harassed you enough, or?
Oh, the PC stuff?
Yeah. Well, no, just the game. Why'd you?
Oh, I think it was cheap. I feel like it was cheap.
Yeah, it was $5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it on eBay for the European copy.
Oh yeah. That's right. I got the physical copy, and I mean, I think I was watching videos and stuff, and I mean, that game really looked interesting to me. So.
Will you take the last story because Firefox is like lagging the shit out on me?
All right. So, Square Enix, after their fiscal quarter, they lowered their financial forecast. Another bad looking outlook, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was probably due to a lot of like I think they said Sleeping Dogs was actually somewhat of a success.
It was a moderate success, but the problem is that they don't really have much going on right now, and they're developing all these games. I think that this is not anything to worry about. I think they are just developing a lot of games, and that's all that's going on. And then they've got to, it's going to be a while before those come out. And
what was more interesting to me was that one of the people who used to work for Square Enix, I don't remember who it was, but he just came out and said.
CEO.
Yeah, like he just came out and said like the merger between Square and Enix was a complete failure. Like
and he's wrong in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't
agree with that.
I don't know. I think
here's the deal. Most of the failures in recent years from Square Enix have come from the SquareSoft properties. I mean,
yeah, Final Fantasy
and
Final Fantasy
Enix,
okay, but.
I mean, Enix has been the biggest selling titles in the Square Enix lineup. The Dragon Quest title on DS is like one of their highest selling games ever. So it's like, I think that was Dragon Quest.
That's true,
9.
yeah. Yeah, yep.
Dragon Quest 9 did like 6 million units or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
oh yeah.
I mean, that's like their highest selling game, I think, since like Final Fantasy 7 or something. I don't know, but it's just like, I mean, outside of the Eidos stuff, which has been doing really well for them. I mean, Deus Ex, I think, did 4 or 5 million copies or something like that. But it's like, I just think that they need to. They're just gonna have. It's just the only thing that's really happening with them. I mean, you think about the games that came out this past quarter. They had Sleeping Dogs, which they've already said it was a moderate success, so they've made their money on it. But then they also had. I think it was Theater Rhythm.
Oh yeah,
I mean, those are smaller. Those are smaller games. I mean, and not Sleeping Dogs, but Sleeping Dogs is a new IP. and it was, the fact that they profited off of it is good enough, but they're just developing a lot of stuff. They even said that when they released the figures. They said it's because they're developing so much stuff right now and don't have much coming out right now. So
Yeah, and I mean,
quarter.
like, something like even Kingdom Hearts on 3DS kind of underperformed. The funny thing is, like, Kingdom Hearts on 3DS is actually like it sold perfectly fine in North America. Like, it was on pace to sell the same as the PSP handheld versions and stuff like that. But in Japan, for some reason, I guess they're not as interested in a lot of these Kingdom Hearts spin-offs anymore, because it didn't sell as
My
well
problem
in
with the
Japan.
Kingdom Hearts franchise is they splintered it. It used to be a PS exclusive, and I don't mind if it becomes multi-platform. But what happened was, as a Kingdom Hearts fan, and I was one, it became too hard to follow the franchise, and so I just gave up.
Well, all they've been
That's
making
what happened to
recently
me.
is just all these spin-offs. I mean, it's just Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, and then there's a Chain of Memories on GBA. But after that, hasn't been anything as, like, when is Kingdom
Well, I
Hearts
think
3
Kingdom
going
Hearts
to come out?
3D has been was said to be the continuation of Kingdom Hearts 2.
They said it
But they
actually,
need to quit.
they said it actually leads up to Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, they said it's
Oh.
not Kingdom Hearts 3. It's once
I
Kingdom
don't
Hearts
know.
3
I
comes
just
out,
wanted-
that's
I don't
gonna
even know if there will be one at this point. I think they're gonna. I think they've really harmed the franchise. I think they really
hey,
have.
but, they can have
'Cause
Star
I-
Wars stuff in that now.
I mean, it's like
Star Wars.
I just think that. Yeah, that's true. But I just think that for me personally, as a Kingdom Hearts fan, like, it became too hard to follow the series storyline because they kept moving it around, and I didn't want to buy all these platforms. So they lost me as a customer.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's. I mean, what do you think about THQ? Do you think they're going to survive, or? I don't think they will, but I hope they survive.
For a little bit. I think.
The trouble is, I agree with that, but the trouble is who do we want these developers to go to? Because I don't want them to go to EA or Activision, and I don't want them to go to Ubisoft. I mean, Ubisoft, I guess, out of the major Western publishers, Ubisoft would be probably the one I would want the most to have these studios.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Activision, Blizzard, and EA, man, they don't care. They just shut people down. And it's
I think I just saw a story today also about some guy from EA was like, new IPs are not a main priority for EA right now. It's all about the sequels and stuff.
I
like
honestly,
that.
you know who I'd like to have take them over is I would like to have Square Enix take them over because they've done really well with Eidos, and I would like if Square Enix would take over the THQ studios after THQ falls apart. I would really like that because it's like I just don't want I don't trust EA and Activision Blizzard. I don't want to buy their games, and THQ has been a good publisher in terms of how they treat their customers in terms of DRM, and just not fucking around and still making good original content. And yeah, I want to see them stick around for quite a while. And I hope that stuff like Homefront 2 can still sell 2 million copies for them. That's what I hope.
We'll see how South Park does too.
Because the
Hopefully
first the first Homefront did 2 million, 2.5 million. 2.5 million for the first Homefront. South Park, I don't even think is going to do 1 million. I don't think South Park will do 1 million. I think South Park will do like 500 to 800K.
We'll see.
I don't know. Anyways, that's Real Buttons episode 5. Ending it on a high note,
15,
everybody.
not 5.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to enter the contest to win Just Cause 2. Nova Bomb, congratulations on winning. Supreme Commander 2. And look out for reminders. Why is that funny?
I don't know. It was supposed
Man,
to
our
happen
audience is
forever ago,
weird. Why would they laugh at winners? Winners. Okay, there you go. Yeah, they need to clap more often.
There we go.
But
They're
okay. But yeah,
they're
thanks for
just
listening,
clapping for the
guys.
end of the episode, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
All right,
Thanks.
see you.
Yeah, goodbye.